I think some people go bad. They don't. They make bad decisions. They're not necessarily bad people. The route is bad, you know, and it comes from them not having resources. You know, so if you can run a crew that's that successful selling drugs in this climate, you could run a Fortune 500 company. The maintenance that it takes on people, like you know how often someone gets in trouble and decides to tell on someone else to
rap.
Yeah, just to get themselves out of the situation they're in and back onto the streets. And for you to make it to that height, it would take really good people skills, really good.
Gotta be kind of charismatic.
You gotta be a great judge of character. You know, like you see, the most expensive thing we spend is time.
That's the
right.
And this thing you could trade is time.
Yeah,
I mean, all you have is time, right?
This is why even the biggest punishment you can receive is time.
That's true.
They can take the time away from you. So there's when you think about it, when you really look at it and you see.
By the way, I believe that every person should serve a little bit of time. I know that sounds crazy, but my belief is that until you've been in that situation, you don't really understand what it is to lose everything.
Or the circumstances. Circumstances to people's stories. I think when you look at cinematography itself, it's art imitating life.
Yeah.
And when you see people make choices, that it could have been choices instead of power, but power means the same thing in every language. It's the same symbol on every television, no matter where you go in the world. You know what I mean? And they don't use it.
Yeah,
it's just a book.
So do you? There's a saying, money is the root of all evil. Do you believe that money is the root of all evil, or the lack of money is the root of all evil?
I think money is the root of all evil.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I think it's the lack of money.
But look, it'll make you do things, the lack of it, but what I've seen, it'll make there's one phrase that you can say, right? If you took a woman and you was walking through the mall and you snapped your fingers and her clothes disappeared, she probably need to talk to a shrink about the experience. She'd be like, my clothes were gone. I was like, oh my God. You're like, no, it's cool, relax. She probably need to talk to a shrink anyway. But if she could say to herself, fuck this, I gotta get this money because I gotta take care of what I gotta take care of. I got bills to pay, shit like that. She can get butt ass naked and twerk till you won't believe it. This is what we see in the strip club.
Yeah, but that's because of the lack of money, though.
Right, it is for it.
She had the money. She
get it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It'll make you compromise the moral compass, moral compass, and the things that you've been raised under, because they don't necessarily come from broken homes. Not all of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they'll make the choice because of how much money is involved in the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you see really attractive people, men or women, right? And, if your appearance is your largest asset, you're gonna do some whole shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with the shows, do you think that the characters that you guys have, do you believe that the society they were in while they were brought up kind of got them into where they went?
Well, the circumstances of it. I think it was really important to show, specifically the Flannerys with Big Meech and T, to show their origin story, because you see how someone can make the choice. Like you can see when there's not enough food actually tonight, then you can see how a person would be like, well, let's do this because it's here and it's the fastest route to the fastest and biggest solution to the problem. You know, like when you look up and you see people that have what you would view as financial freedom from that perspective, and that's the route that they took, it feels like the way to go. Like it doesn't have requirements. And then for a guy that, when they're starting this in the youth, they're starting this at an age that they're not even responsible for their own behavior.
They're still developing.
They're minors. Yeah.
Their mind's still developing, so they're soaking in. They think it's the way.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that we see, like the criminal activity stuff in gang culture, it'd be young guys that they haven't developed their consequential thinking yet.
Yeah.
I don't think they really know what they're doing. Like there's a lot of wet pillows in prison.
Yeah.
Like under the circumstances of being incarcerated while they're alone.
Yeah.
They're crying, but they're not doing it in front of anybody.
Do you believe that in gang culture, in some ways, though, that does transfer if done positively into, let's say, entrepreneurship or business? I mean, you've in the last couple of years alone have launched Sire Spirits.
Yeah.
You're now you're the Houston. You've cut deals with the Houston Rock. A bunch of what sports teams were they? I can't look off the top of my head.
I did deals.
This is on a couple of years. I mean, it takes people years to do that. And I know you were just starting the first time we talked with the cognacs, but what were some of the stadiums you guys are in now?
Sacramento Kings.
It's huge.
Sacramento. I did a deal with Indiana Pacers. I did a deal with Houston Rockets. The Astros. Shout out to the Astros. They won the World Series. Did a deal with them.
Did you have anything to do with that?
And the Texans, of course, I'm the good luck charm. I'm the good luck charm. They sign the deal, then poof, then everything goes the right way.
100%.
Hey, who does that? Who does that?
So, do you back to that? Do you feel that gang culture can, if done positively, can convert to entrepreneurship or business?
Absolutely. I think
of a mentality, no?
Anytime there's people gather,
yeah.
Regardless if you would call it gang culture or if you would call it a group of entrepreneurs or a group of people that are working in one direction. You don't necessarily have
gang is a business in a way, in some ways. And
you will find
there's a CEO, there's a guy that takes care of stuff. You have your CFO. I mean, it's still layered like that, right?
You'll find more ruthless people in business than you find in the neighborhood. Because what I think makes people ruthless is tunnel vision.
100%.
When they're extremely focused and they're going in that direction, even the district attorney is putting them in jail.
100%. And it happens a lot, by the way.
And doesn't care, just wants the highest profile convictions they can get to move themselves up.
Yep.
And no matter how many people that come through that they give, Lord knows how much time, they just want to move forward. They want to be successful.
I believe there's three things that it takes in order to make like someone well balanced in business. Okay, so there's three things. There's a hustler, an entrepreneur, and a businessman.
Right.
And a hustler, right? The thing about hustling, if you're one of too many of these things, so if you're a hustler, you're thinking short term. You're going out to get that money. You're making that quick buck. You don't care who you burn. It doesn't matter. It's short term, right?
Right.
Then you have the entrepreneur, who's more of like a visionary, right? So their purpose, they have the plan. They're like the artist. They see the vision. They see the downward vision.
Yeah.
And then you have a businessman, right? Which a lot of, let's say, corporate America, things like that. They're looking at the numbers. They don't care. We got to make the numbers. They don't always see the vision, and they don't always see the hustle. They just say, what's the number? That's all I care about. Now, if you're too many of any one of these three things, right? If too much of a hustler, you're short term. If you're an entrepreneur, you might get lost in the art of it, never make any money. And if you're a businessman, you might not see the vision or see the hustle.
Right.
Out of those three categories, which one do you believe you are today? A hustler, an entrepreneur, or a businessman, or all three? And where do you think you are with any of those?
I've gone through...
Because you're doing all of it, by the way.
I've gone through the training camp. Like, you look, in the beginning, it's hustler because it's for survival. And the short-term goal is a great enough accomplishment. So you're hustling and you're doing what you gotta do. And then as you get to a stage of you perceiving yourself as an entrepreneur, people say it and they're not necessarily entrepreneurs at that point. I think entrepreneurs they've researched the direction they're going in. So they have information. Entrepreneurs gonna...
And that's a loose term today. That's especially with the younger generation.
Right. But
everyone's an entrepreneur.
Well, my interpretation of it is someone who has information or acquired information about how it actually works. They may not necessarily have all the resources to execute it, but is working in that direction for it to be a success, and that's in the courses.
What do you mean?
You get that out the book. It's textbook business that goes on traditionally what you should expect in business, right? And that it's easier to conduct that. Like if a person is extremely successful, they'll have a team, right? So the lawyers there's other people there that would catch things that would be right. Nah, you got to change this, and this, because lawyers think a little different. They think about everything that can go wrong.
Anything go wrong rather than what can go right.
When yes, so you got to balance that. Like you can't have, like I have a general counsel, but
Yeah.
I didn't have that in the very
But
beginning.
you kind of
my
got to
career.
direct them sometimes too, right?
gotta
Because if
balance
not,
it.
they'll kill a company within seconds. End of deal.
They'll kill an idea before it even take off because
They'll tell you every reason not to.
they're exploring everything that could go wrong when everything's gonna go right. What's the
Yeah.
matter with you? Like, and sometimes you gotta, if you know instinctively that this is something that'll work, it's a no-brainer, then you can just go do it. I've done it against my lawyer's wishes at that point.
And that's either the entrepreneur in you or the hustler in you.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't know everything.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like I'm telling you some things I can tell you this is gonna work. And when it works, he goes, yeah, you're right. You made the right call. And then generally, if you benefit the most from it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, he says, what? I can't be wrong. Like you was right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like okay, it's cool.
What are you enjoying the most right now? Because you're producing
Yeah.
on television, and then you're doing documentaries. And then you had your podcast with El Chapo, which, by the way, his son just got, ironically, an award yesterday or a fight or something yesterday.
Wow.
And then you have your producing, you have your music, and then you have your businesses.
Right.
Which one are you enjoying the most? Because you're doing all three of them. Which one's still your passion? Like if you were to say, if someone was to say to you today, Fiddy, you only get to pick one of the three, which is the one you're going to choose to do?
I would choose television.
Really? So you
I
don't
had to
produce
pick
it?
one of the three.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed touring recently.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because I was able to go outside of the country.
It was a world tour.
Yeah, the tour started with 4 shows. And Live Nation didn't believe in the run because they felt like something might go wrong from COVID, because it's early, internationally. So I financed it. So I went straight to venue with it, and I didn't take I didn't have any support acts.
You bet on yourself.
I traveled 36 countries. And
Wow.
we sold out the whole thing. Like
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, and it was because they weren't moving like they would regularly move.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of competitive things happening at the same time, and people were ready to
Get out.
come back and hear that. Yeah,
That's fantastic.
yeah, it's cool.
So when you're producing now, are you the one are you pitching the shows yourself? Do you have a team? Are you putting
Well,
together a
I'm
deck?
I'm in development, the whole
Okay.
thing. Like, look, when you immerse yourself on one side of entertainment, the other side is exciting.
Yeah.
Because my only entertainment has been film and television because in music.
Mm-hmm.
So music, I hear the artist, I'm like, oh, okay, I hear the creative choice they made and what they did. And I said, oh, they could have did it like this. There's a version of it that I could have made, right? There's another version of that song, of every song. And some musical elements, you'll go, nah, that was dope, like that was crazy. I didn't hear that. That doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
And it excites you when you hear things that aren't in other records because it makes producers think outside the box. It makes artists pick different things. You know what I mean?
And you on your tour, you're doing most of your classic music, correct?
Yeah, I did a lot of material. I performed all of the new stuff.
A lot of times
that
people,
I
when they
did.
go on tour, they'll drop a new record right
Whole new
before.
album.
But what I found a lot of times, especially people that are huge fans, they want to go hear the classics.
Yeah, like Prince. I would have rather heard Purple Rain than a lot of that shit he was performing.
Yeah, right?
Now look, this is real shit. You know this. When you got that album that you go, this shit, the whole shit, I want to listen to the whole shit. Like that one, they going, that's a special period. This is when you like, you can't be that forever. Nobody can. You know what I'm saying? And where my core audience is, the people who were influenced the most by that time period, when the music came out,
Yeah.
are now older. They've
Right.
grown with me.
30s, 40s.
Right. So now they're at home watching television. They'd have the drink that they would have in the nightclub at home.
Yeah.
That fucking wine cellar is successful. Yeah, bar at home. They have the drink at home instead of having it in the club and in the social environment. But when you're 21 and you're in college and you're having your adult experience for the first time, the music at that point, the things that are dominating are the theme music to your life.
Yeah.
It was that night you saw her.
The experience.
She was the hottest thing you saw in your life. she wanted to suck your dick, like your dick specifically.
And you knew that.
Right? And you knew it. And you felt it to the point that you was going to talk to her like you were sure. And then when it happened, you was like, oh my God, what the fuck just happened?
Heard that music.
Oh my goodness, I'm the best. This is the best night of my life. And for that man, it never changes. Like he looks and goes, but when that happens, I wasn't involved. I was playing in the background. I wasn't involved in the transaction. But he never forgets that shit for the rest of his life, bro. And this is where you make a connection where those people will go, no, I'm not gonna lie. That time period, like that window where he was the thing that no one could deny at that point. There's, was that window for them where they were transitioning from a boy to a man or from a girl to a woman. And that is monumental in their life. So I'm not finding a new audience, I'm finding my core audience when I'm on television. And I know some of the things that were impressionable on me on my run and some of the things that they were exposed to that I can offer through film and television.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, you know, the reason we invited you for the enthusiasts, but is because you're definitely an enthusiast. You're an enthusiast of music, business. You're an enthusiast of finer things in life too. You're an enthusiast of life, by the way. That's what the enthusiast is, right? So, what's next as we wrap up?
There's so much more. There's no limitations to how far you can take it. You know, I'm enjoying it. Like you look, when you say, I think there's some people who know how to live better than others, right? We just said the most expensive thing you spend is time.
Yeah.
And just, they're free spirited, they just live. You know what I'm saying? And they get a chance to really embrace things, to enjoy where they're at, to travel the world, you see different things, expose yourself to different environments. And if you're doing it with the right people, at the right times, I don't know how you can look at things and regret them at any point. You know, like, because we only do this, we don't get do-overs.
There's no redos.
Yeah,
you live in the live act. You're on stage.
Like, yo, let me get a redo. Let me get a redo.
There's no redos. You only get one life of the redo.
I go back to 18 and start over. With this information, I fuck them up bad, bro. Give me a Back to the Future right quick.
100%. What do you think changed your mentality on life for that? Have you always had that? Have you always thought that way? Or did there some pivotal point in your career or your life that you've had this? Because I think the same way, by the way. That's how I've been. I've never worked for anyone since I was 17 years old. So I understand the hustle. I understand entrepreneurship, all that. Was there a pivotal point you're like, there's no redos? Because not a lot of people get that. They take life for granted. They wake up every day, especially younger generation, they'll sleep until 2 or they'll do whatever, and you're like, half the day's gone. And I have brothers and sisters, it's like, get up. I wake up stoked every day, don't you?
I find myself in crowds by myself.
Yeah.
Like, they're not necessarily thinking the same thing I'm thinking when we're doing what we're doing as a group. And I think when you don't necessarily train yourself, like, you know how people say, oh, I'm an independent thinker, I'm this, like this. When it's already in you to just have your opinion of which way, direction you should go, I think, I'm not sure if you can train someone into
that mentality.
Right.
I agree with you, by the way. I think a lot of times it's inherently in you.
Yeah, I think it's in a natural character because there's a point where you've achieved so much that why exactly are you getting up this early? Like, why are you getting up this morning? Like, it doesn't. You already have financial. How much money in the bank? So you're going.
You're not that motivated.
Right. Why are you getting up today? Like, you should just chill.
Yeah.
Some people would choose to chill and then you go and you work because I'll find my interest and my enjoyment in the process.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and that's really what a lot of entrepreneurs, they'll achieve something and it'll only be until their new idea comes that they're after something completely different. You know what I mean? And some guys, they make it to the top of the board and then tell them what the fuck to do. They just want to go.
They get content.
Yeah, they start saying, okay, let's go to the moon. I want to go to the moon first. What the fuck? I try not to do shit that could...
Not your wheelhouse.
I mean, look, when the fatality is connected to something that is so beyond the normal behaviors and stuff like that. I look and I go, oh, no, maybe I shouldn't. I don't need that. Because I see things, people kind of can create their own path ways and then do unnecessary things all the time and be comfortable with having the freedom to do it because the finances are there. You can create habits that are, like I used to really like to ride motorcycles. Yeah. And I stopped because I couldn't afford to fall off and slide down the street. And
no, you probably can't even get insured.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was like when I came back, I was like, nah, I'm cool. But before that, it was like, I kind of got that daredevil energy in me because of it's just in me. Like I would ride and then you see somebody else do something and you go, oh, I want to try and do that too. So like now you see the guy out here, Willie, he has his like foot on the back seat and then he'll take his foot off and get off the bike and he's like flying, the bike's over here and he's still holding the shit and get back on it. Yeah. And you go, what the fuck? I didn't even know it was possible for you to do that shit, but I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore because they're gonna push the envelope until it's like, look, when he falls,
not worth it.
It has to just be because that was all that mattered. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Because if that, anything else that you go, what else excites you? What else makes you feel good? Because those things like public perception of you, like when you see when people, there's points where they promote things that's not necessarily real, right? But in it being public perception or the public's aware of it in that way, it adds to your aura, right?
Absolutely.
So it's like when they financially say, oh, you're a billionaire, this person's a billionaire. Like, I've been a billionaire since 2007. Yeah, I'm not far from where I came from. Yeah. That I've been a billionaire.
That's crazy.
Financially, because
it's huge.
Everybody around me is being paid. Mm-hmm. They got the resources that I've compensated for them to be there, and I really don't see things that I want that I can't go get it. Except that building right there. That building right there, I can't just go get it. That one.
Not yet.
Maybe if you're billionaire, you just buy buildings because
you still got plenty of time.
Right? Like that's the shit. And you go, but everything else, you can get it, you can have it. I can have it on one end at that point. So I don't want that building. Like, I don't know if I had that urge to have that building. Like, that, it's just who I am. But this is why I'm saying I've felt like that the whole time. So when people tell me, you got givers and takers, right? Yeah. So when you interact with people, they'll come and you'll feel them looking at you like I'm excited because he's such and such. If they introduced you and they told you he's from the Enthusiast Report and he's financially, he's this guy. And they go, well, I want to meet him because, so I can talk to him and maybe this will happen for me or maybe he'll finance my idea. Yeah. Right? And those people take this because you see them wanting something.
They just want something from you.
And then you have the guy that is hear you talking about an idea and says, yes, that's a good idea. Let's do it. I'll finance it if you want to do it.
Yeah. I agree with you.
It's a giver because financing it means nothing to him. Like it's multiple other things going on. He just hears a great idea. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when we talked about the golf course earlier, a lot of times that's what's happening on the golf course. It's a point where the skill is acquired over time by the person that actually plays. Yeah, the skill is going to matter. Yeah. Not how many weights you picked up or anything else. And they're going to kick your ass out there because they've been out there
for years doing it
and working on it.
Yeah. Like any other craft. Yeah, it's the more you give, I believe, the more you get. Yeah, it really is, and a lot of people do not understand it. That's why takers are always like, "Why am I broke?" It's because all you do is take.
I think it's an unwritten law to not need anything.
100%.
Right, to appear to not need it. That would be one of the laws of powers that they didn't put in the book. As far as Robert Greene is concerned, we did the 50th law together, and I think he's amazing, like an amazing writer, and significance in him is how he can run parallels through things that are going on today with historical figures. Right? He's an amazing history buff. Right?
Yes.
And the 50th law is me being fearless, like, because I'm already been under the worst circumstances. All these new situations are so much minor to me, right? When I get into when I say that appearing not to need anything is probably the only law unwritten.
Yeah.
This would allow Bernie Madoff to have a $50 billion Ponzi scheme.
I don't need you, I value you.
My portfolio's
I
full.
don't need you, I value you. Yeah.
So you can leave after he told you his portfolio's full and talk to your friend, your other wealthy friends, say, yeah, I got a few dollars with over there with him. He says, damn, he just turned me down. Okay, I know I asked to give you 5, but let me give you 10 million.
Yeah.
They ended up giving him more.
It's called the takeaway. Takeaway pitch.
To get in, they can come in at a bigger.
Absolutely. Well, 50, I humbly thank you for coming out. I appreciate your time very much.
Yeah.
I very much appreciate being able to sit down with you again. Your cognacs are doing amazing. Your shows are doing kicking ass. So you just had your premiere last night. Congratulations, by the way.
I'm excited.
On AMF. So we're very excited. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it very much, and your team as well. Humbly, thank you.
Cool.
Cheers, appreciate it.